So I wanted to tell you something that happened to me yesterday, and honestly, if you watched the last video before this one, which would be day 2 of this trip, I was really shook up and just didn't want to talk about it. I've kind of gathered my thoughts and thought about it last night and this morning, and I wanted to tell you what happened. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Good. Leaving Ironhorse Motorcycle Lodge. Let me circle around here and you can kind of see some RVs there. And there's kind of a good shot of the lodge. Got in here yesterday afternoon. Got a semi-private cabin and slept great. Great breakfast, biscuits and gravy, and some eggs, bacon. So we're on day 3 of this little journey. This one is going to take us all the way back home. I doubt the GoPro will last that long. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up and hit Moonshiners 28 and give you little footage of that, and then we will tell the Dragon for a little bit, and I may, depending on how good the traffic is or isn't, I may do one of my favorite things and set the old Kermit chair up in the corner and video some of the traffic coming through, if there is any. If not, I'm going to go on down and hit the Foothills Pky and back toward the house.
Lights gone now, but have no fear. You're closer now, the stars appear. We climb so high, 100 trees. So don't look down, just follow me.
So things are coming along on this ride. Well, I'll be back when we hit some of the better parts of 28, Moonshiners 28, and show you a little bit of that. Up to some traffic here, so I wanted to tell you something that happened to me yesterday, and honestly, if you watched the last video before this one, which would be day 2 of this trip, I was really shook up and just didn't want to talk about it. I've kind of gathered my thoughts and thought about it last night and this morning, and I wanted to tell you what happened. While I was on the Ridge Parkway, I hadn't been up there probably maybe 10 miles, and I was going along doing fine, and nothing in the road. The roads were pretty clear, not a ton of traffic. I think I did get some footage while I was up there in yesterday's video. That is, if I had the camera running. I was so shook up. But anyway, I was cruising along. I was doing about 45 miles an hour, and all of a sudden a tree limb falls out and it catches me on my right shoulder. And even if the camera's running, I haven't looked at the footage, but I'm pretty sure you couldn't even see it. That's how fast this happened. And when it did, it jerked my right shoulder to the right. And I was kind of on a straight stretch, but when it jerked my shoulder to the right, I grabbed both handlebars, and I'm so thankful that my instincts kicked in, and I thought clearly, or otherwise it would have been probably a pretty serious accident. I know I would have messed the bike up horribly. I could have broken something, who knows, even though I've got all the gear on. But whenever it jerked the bike to the right, it threw me way over to the edge, and when I got my head back up from where it hit, I was headed right toward there's just a little pull off on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and right where the pull off asphalt meets the regular road, there was a drainage area that just runs right up against the asphalt, and it was pretty deep. I'm telling you, it was pretty deep. So I'm headed straight for that, and I had literally a split second. I mean, that's how fast you have, a split second to do the right thing. And if I had jerked the bike back, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I would have lost it. I would have lost it. And golly, I can't imagine what would have happened. But I hit it straight on with my front tire and then my back tire, and I gently stood up on the seat a little bit to kind of take some of the recoil. And remember, I'm doing 45 miles an hour when I hit this, and I'm telling you, if a car would hit it, it would have messed it up. If an average bike would have hit this, it would have been over. But thankfully, with this bike, so far, I went on up a little bit, and I pulled over. Not sure I want to look at this. Took a couple of deep breaths and golly, just thank the Lord, and checked it out. I couldn't find any damage anywhere on the bike. I checked the rim, especially the front one, because it took the big brunt. Nothing is bent, nothing anywhere that I can find any damage. Now, something may show up when I get back home or my next service, I don't know. But right now, it's running great. None of the wheel weights come off, and you're probably thinking, that couldn't have been a hard hit. I'm telling you, this was an unbelievably hard hit, and it literally scared me. I've been off-road. I've done quite a bit of stuff. And then looking back on that, as I checked this bike out and then continued on, I began to think, how in the world, number one, did I not wreck? And number two, did this bike take that and no damage? And it just goes to show how well this thing is built for off-road adventure, for taking some serious licks and keep on going. And beyond that I could hang on to it and it take those two jolts and keep me in a straight line. So man, that was crazy. So you might say today you're riding with a little more caution, and absolutely, things like that can shake you up, and there's nothing I could have done about it. It was just a freak thing. It's not like I pulled out in front of somebody or somebody pulled out in front of me or I was riding crazy, but it just happened. And there's nothing you can do about it. It could have hit a car, it could have hit a lot of other things, but for some reason, I was there, it fell, and all that took place. But I guess if there's one thing to maybe think about and learn from this is overcorrecting a motorcycle in a spare of a moment is not always the best thing to do, if ever. Sometimes you've got to ride it out. And again, I just shudder inside to think, if I had not been on this adventure bike, what kind of damage would have incurred to me, to the bike. Wow. I'm cruising on through 28 here, come up on a couple of Harley riders. There's a dude in front and probably his wife here right in front of me. This road can be dangerous. I mean, if I have a place to pass, I will. And speed limit's like 55, you know, we're doing maybe 25. So it could be her first big ride to the tail of the dragon. And 28 here, which can be really intimidating, especially on a big old bike like that. But it sure is beautiful through here. Sun coming through a little bit. Canopy. Look at those big cliffs up there. Here comes the Batmobile toward us. I've actually seen a bald eagle up there on those cliffs as we cross the lake. Bald eagle is an incredible creature. I was studying up on those dudes the other day, just thinking about it. And it's amazing how they build their nest. Their nests are like humongous. And then they take their feathers and they line the nest. And so, you know, and they thrive when a storm comes. Like for us, when a storm hits, we're like, uh-oh, you know, what are we going to do? But they thrive, and when storms hit, their normal flight, I guess, is probably around 50 miles an hour, but I was reading where in a storm they can get up to 80 and 100 miles an hour, which is crazy. And then when they have those little eaglets there, they will, when it's time for them to learn to fly themselves, the mother will get up over the top of them and flutter her wings and kind of flush them out one at a time, and she nudges them right up to the edge of that cliff, and then she just kind of plop, you know, pushes them off, and they just go tumbling, screaming down that rock cliff, head over end, and then she takes off. She swoops right down under them, and that little eaglet lands right on her wing, and she takes it back up to the nest. And this is done over and over until one day when that little eaglet steps up to that cliff and takes off and says, I can do this too. And now I'm a true flying bald eagle. That's cool. It's like in life, you know, when things knock you down, you think, I'm not going to get through this, there's no way I'm going to make it. You will. You just keep walking. And one day before you know it, you'll be flying again. We're going to see if we can get around these Harleys. There's one down. Now Daddy's going to let me through.
So high